Good evening and welcome to the LaSalle Public Library's virtual programs. Before we begin our special program tonight, I'd like to call your attention to the screen of upcoming virtual programs. This Saturday at 1 o'clock, Father Dominic, the bread monk, will be helping us bake our way through the holidays with recipes for Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, and Christmas. So this is a special time, a Saturday program at 1 o'clock. Hope you can join us for that. Next Tuesday, Natalie Martin, Master Gardener from the University of Illinois Extension Office, will be joining us at 6 o'clock to have a natural Thanksgiving centerpiece tutorial. So please join us for Natalie's program, 6 o'clock next Tuesday. And finally, Lindsay Adaro, photojournalist, Pulitzer Prize winner, will be joining us on Sunday, November 21st, for a special program when she discusses her experiences covering Afghanistan for 20 years, what life was like, especially for women during the Taliban rule, and how life changed over the last 20 years. She's captured this story in her own photography, and she will be sharing that with us. That will be Sunday, November 21st. And now for tonight's program. We've been wanting to do this program for quite some time, so we are just delighted to welcome tonight Beth Ketter. Beth is the City of LaSalle Administrative Assistant. She has been with this project, the Celebration of Lights, from day one. And Brent Bader, City of LaSalle Director of Community Development, who has been with the program for a few years now, for a behind-the-scenes presentation of the largest holiday light display and how it came to be and what all the behind the scenes that take place to make it such a success for so many people in the area. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and closing my microphone. And I'm going to ask Beth and Brent if you can come on. There
Sure.
is Beth.
Hi.
Hi, Beth.
Hi.
And are you
Hello,
going to
hello.
speak? There's Brent. I see him. Okay.
Hi.
And I'm going to close my mic now and I turn it over to you.
All right. Well, let me pull up my presentation here. Give me a second. Can everybody see that? I'm gonna guess we're good. So
We are.
welcome to the behind the scenes look at the Celebration of Lights, sort of looking at the magic of the creation of this event every year. It is our 9th year. We certainly hope you're familiar with it, and if not, we definitely recommend that you come out this year to check it out. It is a drive-through lights display here in the city of LaSalle at Rotary Park. It stretches about over 2 miles now. Beth can correct me if I'm wrong. They're over 2 miles, almost 3, and roughly 400 displays. Now, this started 9 years ago. Mayor Grove came up with the idea to have another Christmas holiday activity here in LaSalle. And back then it was, what, Beth, 10 displays in a gravel road? So
it was 13 displays in Rotary Park, and we had no electricity. So they were all run by generators that we would start at dusk every night and then turn off at 10 o'clock. And I think we had very few participants go through.
how did you get the word out back then?
We did some advertising. The following year, we decided if we wanted to grow it, we would go to businesses with catalogs of displays and explain the program to them. So the mayor and myself went and just visited downtown and LaSalle businesses, and they started jumping on board.
And now a lot of people find it just through the illumination of the display as they're driving through the interstate. It's quite bright.
We don't go out and ask people to participate anymore. We don't have to. We haven't done that in about 3 years. They call us now, so that makes it much easier.
And to give people kind of an example of what we're talking about, if you haven't seen the display, we did have Matthew Klein do a drone video of the display here, which I will show. It really kind of captures, I think, a lot of the magic of the display and giving you a good feel of what it looks like. So I'll play that right now. as you can see from that, it's really something where we want it to feel like when you pass through those illuminated gates, you're in an actual winter wonderland. And I think we've captured that pretty well. It's something that we're all very proud of here. And not just here at the City of LaSalle, but I think everyone that has a hand in this, from the volunteers, the sponsors for the displays, everybody that donates. I think it's something that really benefits from the spirit here in LaSalle and our surrounding community that we've been able to continue growing every year. And we'll get into some of that a little later, but I was wondering if Beth, you'd be able to kind of take us in a little bit in the how this all comes together every year, the installation of this.
Well, it's a huge project, as you can imagine. It starts approximately 6 weeks prior to opening. It takes many, many employees, many hours. We have, we've gotten better every year with the way we tag the displays with the signs to make sure they all get put together when we store them, to make it easier for us to put them out. We have really good records with every person or business that purchased a display, exactly what the display is, where it came from, which company, and what we add with their sign with that as well. Our public works employees start, like I said, about 6 weeks prior to opening, and we work daily until opening night.
Yeah, it's a long process, but it definitely shows, I think, at the end. Can you talk about the light displays a little bit and the evolution of those?
Sure. When we first started, we used catalog companies primarily. Those are what we took to the businesses and asked, explain the program to them, and they looked through the catalogs, and if they chose a display, typically it always is ordered through me. At this time, we've ordered so many that many of the companies give us a discount. So they purchase the display. It actually belongs to them. And then they purchase a sign showing sponsorship of the display. The signs, we have one sign maker. We want to keep them all uniform and all the same. So the displays are shipped to the city. We put them together, we set them out, we order the signs, we put the signs with the displays, and then we invoice customers. In the last probably 5 years, we've added custom displays. Businesses wanted something, or families, that were relevant to a family member or a loved one that passed, or to the business that they were representing. So we have probably a third of our displays are now custom displays. They're a little more expensive typically and require more time. So we start taking orders for custom in February.
And we should say too, we opened this year on Monday. So I don't know if you referenced it or not, Beth, but we can't take any more at this time.
Yes, we can't take orders at this time. Honestly, this year, especially with COVID, it was more difficult to get displays from both custom and from the catalogs due to shipping issues and getting from their suppliers. They were having trouble. Lights and displays were stuck on ships somewhere. So we hope to have everyone by Monday. We're very close. We have a couple that we may have to wait for. So it is not an option now. Usually we ask people to contact me. You can start contacting me now. I put together a list and then I start contacting people in February. And usually we'll take orders through June. Custom orders, we may have to cut off a bit earlier than that.
Yeah, and what's great, like you said, when you're adding new displays every year, when you come back for repeat visits, it's a different experience every time. You never know what you're going to find that wasn't there last year.
Right. This year we have approximately 45 new displays. And we have changed the park up, so it gives it a different feel as well. We all the displays aren't put in the same place every time. And so it's always a different experience.
And I haven't seen the new ones either, so I'm looking forward to seeing them this year.
No,
So I'm very excited
hopefully
to see what's
nobody.
there. Yeah. I also wanted to talk about our dedicated volunteers. This is the area that I really handle, is managing the numerous people that want to support this event. Our volunteers are the people that you see when you pass under those gates. They're usually highly energetic, very enthused about the event. Some of them are wearing Santa hats and Christmas costumes. They really, really get into it. And we've been very, very lucky to have a great supportive community here. I think that they understand the importance of this event. They probably go through it themselves. They brought their kids through it. They have a great time. They want to be part of it and they want to extend that experience. Most people find it's sort of like it's fun volunteerism, but I think the people have the most fun with it is when they use it sort of as team building. So we have a lot of employees that do it together, workers, families, stuff like that. They come out, they have a good time. It's the best way to sort of put yourself in that spirited mood for the holidays for these people is to go out and do this and to welcome people. So basically what they do is they greet cars as they come in, ask if they'd like to make a donation to this display, the proceeds of which go back into the display and the Rotary Park itself. And then they hand out candy canes to people in the vehicle, sometimes dog treats if there are furry friends inside the car. They have a lot of spirit and enthusiasm, and then they push people to the right radio station to listen for Christmas music as well. So I think I can't see it on the screen here. I think we had like 400 some volunteers last year, generally because we like to have enough people where you can have someone collecting donations, handing out candy canes. We also have a warming shed for them to keep warm. They can take shifts in there. So if it gets really cold, they have some escape from that weather as well. I have a comment here from Jessica of the Lighted Way. Lighted Way is one of our best volunteers. They take multiple days. They're the ones that are usually wearing Christmas costumes and garb. They're very excited about it, and I'll have her kind of explain why they like to do it.
Being involved with the Celebration of Lights event in LaSalle is such a wonderful way to find the spirit of giving during the Christmas season. Lighted Way is pleased to have a display with our name at the base because being included in this type of a community event demonstrates a shared pride in the city that we serve. We view our display as a way to help others know more about our school, which may result in them looking up our website or participating in a fundraiser as they hear the name of our organization. Having the opportunity to work this event not only brings our staff together as we volunteer for our community, but also provides an opportunity to meet new people as they travel from across the area to view the beautiful display. Being part of the Celebration of Lights has been a great opportunity for our Lighted Way staff to give back to the community, especially to expand our network. Participating in the Celebration of Lights in LaSalle is a fun way to interact with people who are coming to view the display as we work together as co-workers to help with this wonderful cause. Most of all, the Celebration of Lights for the city of LaSalle brings happiness to people of all ages. Lighted Way is very proud to be a part of this very special event.
And I noticed from the slide I have up here too, I'd be remiss if not to mention we have, I believe, IVCC students and staff in the top left. And I believe those are Lighted Way. I can't remember if those are Lighted Way members in the bottom right or another organization, but every Tuesday we have 50% nights where a grade school, a local organization can collect 50% of the proceeds. Mostly schools, Lighted Way is included in there as well, but they get very excited. They get to participate in that way. And we felt it's worked out pretty well so far. I wanted to talk about COVID-19 as well, because this was sort of, last year was a tricky year for us. We weren't sure really what to expect. How can we host an event like this? Of course, the pandemic is still going on, but in 2020 holiday season, it was pretty rough. Restaurants were closed for indoor dining. A lot of questions whether or not we'd be able to have the event. Luckily, when you think about it, it is a drive-through display. Families are inside their own vehicles. Our volunteers wore masks. We were able to offer something that I think a lot of families were missing last year. Some sort of escape, something to do to kind of recreate the holiday traditions they used to have. And as a result, we had immense support. I mean, I was there that first weekend, I think, of 2020. We weren't sure what to expect, and there were people lined up ready to go in there. I think everyone just wanted something to do, and we were able to provide that for them. And a lot of people came to discover the Celebration of Lights last year. We got a lot of great feedback on that we were able to offer it. And we're really proud that we were able to do that. Everyone came together. We were kind of able to put our heads together and find a way that we could do it safely. And it was a big success for us. And I think it's going to carry over into this year as well. So I want to talk about community feedback. As we talk about the volunteerism and how this thing comes together, I think of the sponsors of the displays. I think of the volunteers that are out there in the cold collecting the donations. But really a huge component of it is everyone who comes through the display. I like to say that everyone who passes under those gates has a direct impact in expanding the event every year, letting us able to host it every year. And we got some amazing feedback, especially last year, given the pandemic, what they were able to come out and participate in it. We had, as you can see in the top left, we had Santa Claus out there last year. A lot of kids couldn't get to meet with Santa Claus at the local mall because of the COVID pandemic. We were able to give them a safe, socially distant Santa experience last year, which we were very excited about. And we were very happy to have him there as well. We also found that we received network TV media coverage. ABC7, I think, was there. Heart of Illinois, ABC was there. We had a lot of different TV stations, newspapers, radio stations, including our own local media that really helped kind of get the word out about it. And we were able to see a huge increase in people from outside our community. We're talking North Illinois, South Illinois, other nearby states in the Midwest that came across either the Facebook page, saw the news coverage, wanted to travel to see this. We've found now, we weren't sure this year if we were gonna get the same interest, but it seems like we definitely are. And the exciting part is now people have said, oh, I saw it for the first time last year. Now we're coming by this year and I wanna see what LaSalle has to offer. They're looking up restaurants and businesses in the area. They wanna make a day trip out of it to explore everything that our community has to offer. And I think that not only last year, but just the 9 years up to this point has got us to this location where now it's a bigger thing than just driving through the lights display for local residents. We're bringing a lot of attention to the area. And some people I'm surprised at the people that have made this a holiday tradition. I mean, I don't know. I think I've heard from a few people that travel across country to go visit family and they saw the lights on the interstate. So now they pull over every year to experience the celebration of lights. And we're very, very happy that we've built that kind of connection with our community and that they think of us every year in that way. It's super exciting for me. I'm sure it's exciting for Beth to know that not only do we have these people coming back every year, but every year we're also making new ones. So I look forward to meeting the new visitors this year and hope that they, of course, return in future years as well. So we have a few other testimonials here from people in the community that can kind of speak beyond what the city can say regarding how we put this on or volunteers and the like about what this event has meant for the community as a whole. So we have Dina Lifehite here, who's a small business owner, and I'll play that now.
Hi, Dina. How would you say that the Celebration of Lights has impacted LaSalle?
Oh, well, it's brought people from at least an hour away just to see the lights. I've worked Wednesdays before Thanksgiving, and I can't believe how many people from out of state or out of the area stopped just to see the lights. It just brought so much joy because it was one time out of this COVID year that felt special and uplifting.
And then we also have Bart Hartauer here, who is president of the LaSalle Business Association, another great partner for us. They're able to get the word out to local businesses that want to volunteer and support. We've been very thankful for their assistance as well. So here's a comment from Bart.
I think that it's been a bigger success than any of us could have anticipated. It's been great for the community. We look forward to volunteering, and we actually have a list of people that want to help us volunteer when we do it, because it's great to see all the people out there and the smiling faces around the Christmas season. We are just excited to be part of that big endeavor.
And I think you can get from those what I mean when I say we're very gifted with the volunteerism we have in this community. I think it's a very much, we say we believe in LaSalle, and I think that's ingrained in everyone here. They all want to pitch in and help, especially for something like this when they can see the benefit it brings, not only the community, but the economy as a whole here in the area. So as we finish up here, we're always looking for new opportunities. And when we think about the Celebration of Lights, we're always thinking about what the future holds for us. Obviously, every year we're looking about how we can expand on the display, not only just the number of displays, but the route itself. This year's route is longer than last year's route. It's so long that we're even going to have a escape for people that have young children, or maybe they're going through multiple times and they don't have the full time to give the full experience. So there'll be a secondary exit that they can take if they need to. What are we calling that exit, Beth?
We're calling the exit The Grinch exit.
Yeah.
So
the
if you
Grinch
can't
exit.
make it all the way through, you can be a Grinch and take the Grinch exit and get out of the park at, it's about at the same exit it was last year, but you will not go down the new road.
Right. And of course, we understand it's going to be a long ride for everybody. And when you have small kids in the car, they might want to
Yeah.
get home a little
Yeah.
quicker. So that's why we have that Grinch exit available for everybody. And then we're also looking at new ways that we can incorporate the rest of the city into this. As I said earlier, when we got all those new people coming from last year, now they're coming back this year and they want to know what they can do in the area. So we started having conversations about how can we bring the rest of the city into this this event, which is quickly gaining speed, gaining interest, and making it something that's beneficial for the entire community even more so than it currently is. So that's sort of the gist of our presentation. I'll open it up if you have any questions to let us know. Let us know your experiences if you've been to the Celebration of Lights, what you like about it, and then we'll answer any questions that you have.
That was just wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Let me ask both of you, Beth and Brent, about the demographics of people who visit. You said, you know that people are coming from far and wide, and every year it's a little bit more. Have you ever captured the actual demographics, found out the locations of not addresses, but towns of where people have come from?
Statistically, no. It would be difficult to do that at the display itself just because we try to get the cars moving through there as quick as we can. We don't want to increase the wait time any longer than we have to. So it basically comes down to them telling us stories, and they're always excited to tell us where they're coming from.
Yeah.
They love to explain how far they've traveled for this. They get excited about it, and that's another key indicator that they really love this. And not only do they love it, but I feel like they feel like they've invested in it. They feel like they're part of it. They feel like they're coming back home. But as far as firm statistics on where everyone's coming from, unfortunately, we haven't been able to do that.
Well, I can understand. I've been through many times every year, and I know how crowded it is at the gate. But I'm just amazed at the reach of this. And I assume they're telling you this information on social media. Is that how you get contacted?
Absolutely, on social media, and as they're driving their cars through, they like to chat and tell us where they're coming from as well.
Okay.
This
All right.
year, looking at the Facebook comments, we're getting a lot of people that haven't found it previously, that found it last year, that are from further away than the average comments I think we were getting in 2020 at this early on in the display, or this early on in the announcement.
It's really wonderful. I see we have a question. How many cars do you see a night, and how many throughout the season?
We don't count the cars, so I don't have an exact count for you. Weekends, obviously, especially last year, was huge. I think last year we estimated 15 to 20,000 cars went through. And that's just based on us being there and things like that. But that was our guesstimate last year, was about 20,000, and our social media and some of the responses and replies we get from that.
We really took off on social media last year.
Yeah.
We about quadrupled, I think, the number of followers that we had on there. So we have a much larger reach than we had before. And if that's indicative going forward that they're still interested, I think this is going to be another successful year for us, which we're obviously very excited about.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're right about that. I see another question. How much does a display cost? And I know there's a range based on custom versus non-custom and size, but could you give us a little bit of background on that?
I can. I get that question a lot. What I tend to tell people is, if you've been out there, I usually use Santa on a motorcycle. It's a 5-foot display. The average 5-foot simple non-animated display will cost about $500. Now, we do have displays that are less than that, but that's an average to go by. And then your sign showing sponsorship is $100. So that the purchase of your display and your sign is your only obligation. And that covers you for as many years as we can maintain your display. As of last year, our 8th year, we had every display in the park from year 1. This year, We might lose a few. As you know, with your own Christmas lights, keeping them out for a period of 6 weeks is tricky, and we definitely experience that as well.
Okay, it says, who lays out where each display goes? Who builds the custom displays?
I didn't answer on the last question, so I'll quickly answer that. I tell people the custom displays start at approximately $1,000. And this year, I think our most expensive custom display was about $9,500. So it really depends with custom what you want and how big you want. As far as laying out the displays, that's a joint effort. I can tell you, just because I've been out there for the last 2 weeks, I help our superintendent of public works, our public works employees. We have an idea of which way we want them facing and the angles and how much space we want between them. So it's definitely an effort with not all of our staff, but many of our staff.
Imagine that it's not just rearranging from year to year and adding new displays and, you know, placement so that they're pleasing to the passersby, but you must have a tremendous challenge in making sure that there's power matching up with all the displays on one power source, correct?
Well, people would be shocked to learn that every display is powered by an extension cord. So just getting the extension cords in the park to every is huge. We have power panels throughout the park, but they are all on extension cords. And we have a lot of extension cords.
It's truly amazing. And I also think it's what else is amazing is when you're at Rotary Park during the day in the summer, it's hard to believe that there's a pattern for those lights, because there's just, you can't even visualize it when they're not there. They're that amazing. I see we have another question. Where do you store the displays the rest of the year? It must be a tremendous space.
It is. And we are working on that for next year. I mean, as it's grown, obviously our storage has changed. Last year, we stored them in a building from a local business person that allowed us to use their building. This year, we are working on what we're going to do with them this year. We have a new public works garage, and our intent is to store them there. So we'll see where we're at and after New Year's Day.
And I assume they have to be wrapped and dry and wrapped and, you know, added.
How we've been doing it is we have a pallet system that may change. Yes, they have to dry. We tag them as we take them down for repairs. If certain ones need repair, we don't want them stored with the ones that don't need repair, which would allow us to repair them throughout the year so they're ready to go when we're ready to open.
Okay, so it's who pays the electric bill and how much is it?
Well, I'm not exactly sure how much it is, but you would be shocked at how small it is. We only allow displays with LED lights, and it really is not significant. It's surprising.
And it's the donations that help go off into making sure that everything comes together and can.
That is remarkable. Let's see, what am I missing? We had a question for you. Have you ever thought about, now think about this as kind of an arty catalog thing. Would you ever think about making a booklet so that you could have because when you go by the displays, you go so fast, even though you're crawling, you can't possibly take in all of the sponsors and all of their designs. And
that's why you come back twice, Donna, or 4 times.
6 times, 6 times
Yes.
last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, is there a way to match up the display with the sponsors? We so much appreciate that.
Well, we personally in 2017 went through the park before we started takedown and took a picture of every display with every sign, just as a better way for us to organize it. And in the past, we have given out brochures naming the sponsor and I think the type of display they had. But because it's gotten so busy and on weekends, it's crazy busy, we can't hand out additional information or brochures because it slows traffic too much.
Okay. So now you think you will be open for the first time what day?
No, I
Mon-
know we will be open.
I'm sure you know that. When will that be?
Monday, the 15th.
Monday, the 15th, and the display will be up through when?
Through New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. So that will let me get there at least 6 times.
6 times, maybe
And I hope
more.
everyone else will too.
And I
That is-
recommend, Donna, that you come on a weekday.
Yes. And I'm a holdout for the snow, so,
Oh, there you go.
That's an incredible experience when there's snow on the ground. Really
It
is.
it is. Well, thank you so much for this wonderful behind the scenes. We've often wanted it, and we've discussed it with people who come into the library. And we decided that we would ask you, and there you are. You did this wonderful program for us. So thank you again. And I invite everyone who has or hasn't been to this exhibit and experienced it, please come 1 to 6 times this year to LaSalle's Celebration of Lights. And with that, I will turn it over to you two for closing comments. Beth?
Well, a couple of things. I'd like to discuss the hours are Sunday through Thursday from 5 to 9, Friday and Saturday from 5 to 10. I'd also like to, we talked about the volunteers and the donations. Ours is one of the few events that we don't have a fee to go through it. So we accept donations at the gate, which we use to maintain the displays, electricity, and to improve Rotary Park. But if you're a family that comes through 5 times and you donate once or twice and don't the other 3, we are welcoming to everyone that comes through, whether they donate or whether they don't.
Absolutely. That's a great point. And otherwise, I'll just say thank you, Donna, for having us. And
Yes.
thank you to everyone on this call that has been through the display or plans to go through the display. You really do have an impact on this as well. Thanks to you for coming out and helping us increase this every year. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you again, and thank you to our audience. And with that, we'll say good night, and we're
Good
going to
night.
close. Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.